Hi guys, welcome back. Been going through the new Space Marine Codex. I'm going to carry on going through. So far we've gone through the fluff, the imagery, the artwork section, the studio section, and also we've gone through the data sheets. Again, I'll just point out at the start of this video that we're not going to go into massive details. I haven't gone through every single data sheet with what can take what. It's an overview, a review of the Codex, purely for the fact that obviously Games Workshop aren't going to appreciate me telling you everything. We'll go through the formations in this video. I am going to look at the formations in a little bit more detail because they're a massive change in this Codex. They're a massive thing that wasn't in the last one, which is basically what the extra 20 pages in this Codex are. So we'll go through this, see what you guys think of them, and see what could be used for them. So we'll open up on the formations. Now, straight into these, there are a lot of them. Starts with one of the biggest ones, which is the Battle Demi company. Now, the Battle Demi company is effectively half a company. You'll see in the imagery here that there's a lot of Marines in there. Now, the formation, I'll read through quickly what you can and can't take in this. So, you must take 1 captain or chaplain, 0 to 1 command squads, 3 tactical squads, 1 assault squad or bike squad or attack bike squad or unit of land speeders or centurion assault squad. So it has to be one form of assault unit in any form that those assault units can take. 1 devastator squad or centurion devastator squad. Personally, I'd go with the Devastator squad with 4 grav cannons. 0 to 1 unit of dreadnoughts, ironclad dreadnoughts or venerable dreadnoughts. Now, it obviously doesn't say that you can take Forge World dreadnoughts. When are they going to include those? If they're in all this fluff that Forge World has made, that is apparently the same galaxy, the same armies, why in Games Workshop's codexes are these units not included? At least in the fluff. Very, very, very annoying for me. Now, one thing that you can do obviously here, where you've got the captain or chaplain that you must take, you can use one of the special character ones. So it goes through which special characters you can use there. So the benefits of taking this Battle Demi company is special rules that you gain from having this Demi company is objective secured. A unit with this special rule controls objective markers, even if an enemy scoring unit is within range of the objective marker, unless the enemy unit also has this special rule. So effectively, now I read that as everything in this has got objective secured, as it's a special rule for this formation. That's great. I mean, you plonk a dreadnought on a tactical objective and he can just sit there and hold that for some time. Tactical flexibility is the other special rule. If your army contains 1 or more Battle Demi companies, you can choose to enact the tactical doctrine once per game. When the doctrine is enacted, all models in your army with the chapter tactics rule that are part of the Battle Demi company are affected. So you get to use the tactical doctrine and it affects everyone, not just a specific unit or the units that have that special rule. It is everyone in that company. So again, that could be pretty big. Now, this on its own to me doesn't scream any major benefits. I'm not looking at that and going, oh, it's huge, I'm really going to make that, really going to come up with that. Now, there is things that we can do later on that we'll go through at the end of the formations, which is the Gladius Strike Force that we brushed over in a last video that makes this huge, but we'll go over that at the end once we go back to the Strike Force. Next, we're going to move on to the next formation, which is the anti-air air defense force. Basically, this formation is 1 unit of hunters, and 1 unit of stalkers. Now, when it says unit, let me just double check. Where have they gone? So, yeah, one may include up to 2 additional stalkers. Okay, so you could potentially, where it says 1 unit of hunters and 1 unit of stalkers, that doesn't necessarily mean 1 of each. That could mean 1 of each, that could mean 2 of each, or 3 of each. Now, the bonus that you get for this formation here is the Sky Spear auto-targeting. If a hunter from this formation causes a hit on an enemy flyer or flying monstrous creature when firing its Sky Spear missile launcher, all stalkers in this formation add 1 to their ballistic skill until the end of the phase when firing at the same target. So, effectively, if one of the hunters hits, all the stalkers can then hit that same unit easier. Yeah, okay. Not that massive. I'm not thinking, wow, that's impressive. Yeah. Up to you guys whether you're that bothered about that. To be honest with you, it doesn't it's not massive to me, but yeah, I mean, I don't play too many flyers, so okay. We'll see what comes up with that when people start playing with it. Next is the First Company Task Force. Now, the first Company Task Force includes 3 to 5 units chosen in any combination of the following list. So Terminator Squad, Terminator Assault Squad, Stern Guard Veterans, or Vanguard Veterans. 3 to 5 units of any of those. That can be a combination, that could be all of one, however you want to play that out. Now, the special rules that gets is Fear and Fearless. Obviously, being a big group of Terminator-clad dudes, it's probably going to cause some fear. Extremist Level Threat. At the start of the game, before deployment, nominate 1 unit in the enemy army. Units in this formation have the preferred enemy special rule when making attacks against the nominated unit. So, effectively, you get preferred enemy against 1 unit on the board that you choose. That could be big if you wanted to choose. Say for example you wanted to choose their warlord and you had a load of ranged dudes that could take him out. Then yeah, that's cool. Terrifying Proficiency. Enemy units subtract 2 from their leadership whilst they are within 12 inches of at least 3 units of the formation. So if you keep that formation tight and take it into an assault, that could be big. That could make some people run away, really make them run away. Now, if you had the Vanguard or the Stern Guard in there that can make the sweep in advance, obviously the Terminators can't, you could potentially wipe out some units pretty easily with that. That's good, I like that. That's a good one. That's it for the First Company. Next is the Strike Force Ultra. Now, I think this is the only one that's not included in the Gladius Strike Force. Seems odd that it would be like that, but maybe it might be an error. They might FAQ that, we'll see what happens with that. Now, this formation, as far as I'm aware, is one that was previously released anyway, maybe in a White Dwarf. You've got to have 1 captain, 2 Terminator squads, 2 Terminator assault squads, 1 Venerable Dreadnought, 1 Storm Raven, and 1 Land Raider, Crusader or Redeemer. Now, that's a lot of points. The restrictions on this as well is the captain must be equipped with Terminator armour. During deployment, all units from this formation, other than the transport vehicles, must either be embarked on a transport vehicle from this formation or placed into deep strike. So, considering you can't get all of that formation in the transports that are included in that formation. Something's going to be in reserves. Something's not getting on first turn. It's just not sold to me. Don't get me wrong, you might have a strategy that you don't want them on the first turn, but to me it's just not sold. Special rules might change it. Let's have a little read through. So special rules, so we've got Ultra Strike. All units in this formation must be placed in reserve. Oh, okay, so the whole thing's got to be in reserve anyway. Make reserve rolls for all units from this formation at the start of your first turn. Make reserve rolls as normal for any units from this formation that do not arrive in your first turn. Next one is Fury of the Storm. When a Terminator squad from this formation arrives from Deep Strike reserve or disembarks from a transport vehicle from this formation for the first time, all ranged weapons carried by the models in this unit add 1 to the number of shots they can make until the end of the turn. So that could be quite big. If you had all of them in one go, all disembark from vehicles, all at the same time, then yeah, that could add quite a lot of potential damage. That's actually quite cool. Next one is Force of a Thunderbolt. When a Terminator assault squad from this formation disembarks from a transport vehicle from this formation for the first time, all models in the unit add 1 to their attacks. Okay, so basically the shooting gets +1 attack, and the assault gets +1 attack. So pretty sort of simple stuff. Again, it's a big formation that I just don't know if I'd want to take that much of my army up in that formation, but down to you guys really. If you think that's suitable, let us know. Next one, Reclusium Command Squad. Now this is basically a command squad just based around your chaplain. So you've got to have 1 chaplain and 1 command squad. Your restrictions are that the command squad must take a Razorback as a dedicated transport. The chaplain must join the command squad during deployment and cannot leave it during the course of the battle. So essentially they have to stay together. The special rules it gets is Crusader and also Stirring Rhetoric. So all friendly units with the Space Marines faction within 6 inches of the chaplain from this formation re-roll failed to hit rolls during the first round of each close combat. Yeah, that could be alright if you got your chaplain to join an assault, a sort of massed assault of different units. That could be pretty good. Yeah. The next one, if you've watched the previous videos, the next one is what we were talking about. That you've got a 10th Company Strike Force. Now there's a whole section of fluff around the 10th Company, which is probably why it's sort of linked together with this. Now this one, what you have to take in this one is 3 to 5 units chosen in any combination from the following: Scout Squad or Scout Bike Squad. You also have to take 0 to 1 of Sergeant Tellion. Might be worth taking him, he's pretty good, adds some buffs. Scout Bike Squads in this formation must be equipped with cluster mines. Now, I wouldn't take this as normal scouts. I don't think. Well, there's 2 ways. If you want to play all your scouts as standard scouts with snipers, that's how you'd have standards. You'd have your on foot like that with snipers, definitely. However, I would play them all on bikes. Put them all on bikes. Get them in there straight away. Use them for what they're meant to be for. Quick. Hit and run type unit. Now, special rules, concealed positions. Each unit from this formation that deploys using the infiltrate rule does not have the stealth special rule. And does not have the stealth special rule is concealed. A concealed unit has the stealth special rule until it moves, runs, turbo boost, charges, or falls back. at which point it immediately loses the stealth special rule for the rest of the battle. So effectively, as long as you keep them in one place, don't move them, then they've got the stealth special rule. So essentially, again, as I was saying, if you had them all on foot with snipers, that's perfect, because you just plonk them somewhere with good line of sight. They've all got stealth. Don't move them. They don't need to move. They've got massive range. Yeah, it's quite restrictive. Next one is the trap is sprung. So during the first turn, all units from this formation have the precision shot special rule. So it's kind of telling it. The special rules are kind of saying, well, this is what you can have, but you can only actually use it with sniper rifles. Because if you can't move, you can't run, you can't turbo boost, you can't fall back, you can't charge. So basically you can sit still and shoot if you want to have this rule. And then you've got the precision shots. Now I know that precision shots are already included in sniper rifles, but it's either one or the other. You're either having them on foot as normal bolter scouts, which I don't really see much point in. You might as well have normal marines, or bikers. Bikers with precision shots would be pretty cool, but then you don't get this, and vice versa. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really understanding the point of this this formation. I've actually heard a lot of other people say the same thing. It's one of those that everyone's looking at and going, sorry, what's the point? Hopefully someone will come out with how that is meant to work. Next one is the Stormwing. This is a nice little formation. So it's 1 Storm Raven gunship and 2 Storm Talon gunships. I do like this. It's a smart, fluffy little formation. The special rules are data lattice. So as long as at least 1 Storm Talon from this formation has not been completely destroyed, the formation Storm Raven gunship has the strafing run special rule. That's a nice little extra. Love using strafing run on my Fire Raptor. It's really nice. The next one is escort craft. So when making reserve rolls, make a single reserve roll for this entire formation. On a successful reserves roll, all of the units from this formation arrive from reserve. So that's massive. 3 flyers coming on at the same time is going to ruin a lot of people's days. So I like that. That's going to add a lot of fun into playing that. The next one is Centurion Siegebreaker Cohort. Now, this again is one that I don't really see the point of. It's just Centurions and a Dreadnought. So, don't 100% understand it. 2 to 4 squads of Centurion Assault squads. Personally, why aren't you taking Devastator Centurions? And 1 Ironclad Dreadnought, or 1 unit of Ironclad Dreadnoughts. Special rules: you get a Demolition Specialist, so units from this formation which contain a model with the Omniscope reroll, failed armour penetration rolls against buildings, and can choose to reroll glancing hits in an attempt to instead get a penetrating hit. But the second result must be kept. So if you fail your second, then you don't get to go back to the fact that you hit a glancing. It's tough luck. So next special rule is Seismic Devastation. If a building or transport vehicle loses its last hull point as a result of attacks made in the assault phase by models in this formation, any unit embarked in the building or vehicle immediately suffers 2d6 strength 6 AP4 hits with the Ignores Cover special rule. These wounds are randomly allocated and are in addition to any hits that the unit would normally suffer. So that's pretty big. You blow up a transport, they take 2d6 strength 6 AP4 hits in addition to the normal hits that you could potentially receive if you're in an exploding vehicle. So that's big. That could wipe out the squad inside a transport. I like that. However, is it worth taking that formation? I'm undecided. Let me know what you guys think. Next is Land Raider Spearhead. This one is 3 units chosen in any combination from the following. So Land Raider Crusader and Land Raider Redeemer. There's no restrictions on this one. Special rules are Armoured Behemoths. Models from this formation ignore crew shaken, crew stunned, weapon destroyed and immobilised results on the vehicle damage table as long as they're within 6 inches of at least one other model from this formation. That's massive. So effectively the only thing that can happen to these if they're within 6 inches of each other is they can explode. Now, not many things are going to be able to explode a Land Raider, so that's an absolutely massive special rule. That's really good. The only problem is you're going to be needing to play a pretty big game to be able to have 3 Land Raiders at the points cost. So next special rule on that is even the mightiest shall fall. Models in this formation can re-roll failed to wound rolls or armour penetration rolls when shooting at gargantuan creatures, super heavy vehicles or buildings that have the mighty bulwark special rule. So that's again massive. So fail to wound when you've got a Wraith Knight in front of you with D weapons on it. Huge. That is massive. If you're playing in, say, 2,500 points, take it. You've got the models, take it. That's definitely worth it. That is big. If you're playing against armies that have got stuff that's going to wipe things out quickly, you can get in there first. Obviously, the fact that these guys can carry 10 troops as well, it's big. That's a big formation. Right, next one is the Librarians Conclave. This one, guys, you might have heard people talking on podcasts, other YouTubers talking about this one. This one's massive. This one could be a bit of a game changer. It's opening up big opportunities, and it could be one of those broken formations that could be something that people start moaning about, just like they're moaning about Eldar at the moment. So now, essentially, it's a formation of purely librarians. 3 to 5 librarians. You can take Chief Librarian Tigurius. He obviously replaces one of the other. He's not in addition to the 3 to 5. Now, there's no restrictions on this one. So, as I say, characters, that's fine. Now, essentially, in layman's terms, this formation allows one of the librarians to use any psychic power known by any of the other librarians, and also he can have a better roll for the psychic phase with the more librarians closer to him. So the more librarians he has closer to him, the easier it is to roll. So potentially a normal librarian can choose any other librarian's powers, known powers, and get better rolls on them dictated by how many other psychers are near them. Now, I'll read through the rule properly for you, and it is, at the start of the psychic phase, you can nominate one librarian from this formation. If you do this, the nominated librarian is able to access any psychic powers known by any other librarian in this formation. Now, there's any other librarian, so it doesn't matter what powers they are. If they don't own the power already, they can use someone else's, which straight away is big. Now, the next part of this is that the rest of the librarians in the formation cannot do any of their psychic powers until the end of the phase. So that's not saying that they can't generate their powers. They can still generate their powers, but at the end of the psychic phase. So basically, it's not even a problem, because you're obviously going to do the guy that you can choose what he has to start with anyway. the second part to the special rule is, furthermore, when the nominated librarian makes psychic tests for this phase, he will harness warp charge points on a result of a 3-up rather than a 4-up if there is one other librarian from this formation within 12 inches, or a 2-up rather than a 4-up if there are 2 or more librarians from this formation within 12 inches. So effectively, you can choose the powers he uses. He gets to use them on a 2-up rather than a 4-up, and then the rest of the librarians, bearing in mind you've still got your warp charge points left, can still produce their powers at the end of the phase. So you could have 3 librarians, all with invisibility, and a 4th librarian that doesn't know it, and generate invisibility 4 times on all your most powerful units. It's massive. Think of all the other powers you could do. Levitate. That's another one that would be amazing to use on it. It's just ridiculous. You're going to see that as an auto take in people's lists. It's just making things silly. I'm definitely going to start using that, just for the fact that then I can have, if I'm playing a 2,500 point army, I'm going to take my Fellblade and my Knight, make them both invisible, job done. Things aren't going to be damaging them. Now, next one is the Armoured Task Force. The Armoured Task Force is essentially bringing back old school, get as much out on the table as you can, make things look cool. There is an argument that things like these formations are just trying to make you buy more models, which, well, yeah, why wouldn't a company make you buy more models? They're trying to make money. It's a business. They're not in it to make sure everyone has a good time. Of course, that's a big part of it, but they're there to make money, so they're going to try and get you to buy more models. Anyway, bit of a rant there. Armoured Task Force. Essentially, the Armoured Task Force allows you to put a load of tanks on the table, chosen from a specific list of tanks. Now, the formation has to include a Tech Marine. It can include 0 to 3 Thunderfire cannons. It must include 3 to 5 chosen in any combination from the following list: Vindicators, Predators, Whirlwinds. And you can take Sergeant Kronos if you want to. So it is 3 to 5 units, so that potentially is up to 15 tanks out of that list. And it can be in any combination, so it doesn't necessarily have to be all of one item or something like that. Now, the special rules on this one, you've got Paragoric Cant, which is vehicles from this formation ignore the effects of crew shaken, crew stunned, crew shaken and crew stunned while they're within 6 inches of the Tech Marine or a Tech Marine gunner from this formation. So obviously the Tech Marines can still take their servitors. The second rule is the Will of the Omnisire, which is the Tech Marine and the Tech Marine gunners from this formation have a +1 bonus when making Blessings of the Omnisire rolls to repair vehicles from this formation. So that's quite good. Personally, I don't know what I'd take out of that formation. Probably Vindicators. Vindicators are always good, stick them behind cover and blow things up. They're pretty good, obviously quite a short range, but still, that's probably what I would go with. It might be a good excuse to get some Whirlwinds on the table. They're always quite fun to play with, and also obviously you've got the cool Whirlwinds, the Scorpius from Forge World, which, as far as I'm concerned, why can't you play that as a normal Whirlwind? The model looks cool as anything. Next formation is the Suppression Force. Suppression Force, 1 unit of Whirlwinds and 1 unit of Land Speeders. So the restrictions on this one, The unit of whirlwinds must consist of at least 2 models. So it must be a minimum of 1 land speeder and 2 whirlwinds. Now, the special rule for this one is data link telemetry. 1 land speeder from this formation can nominate an enemy unit within 18 inches and in line of sight in its shooting phase. It cannot do this in the same turn it moves flat out. Until the end of the phase, all shooting attacks made with the whirlwind multiple missile launchers by models in this formation against the nominated can re-roll to hit and are treated as having an infinite range. So you get your land speeder within 18 inches and within line of sight, and the whirlwinds have infinite range and can re-roll to hit. Now, that's decent, that's very good. The only drawback with it is the fact that it's a land speeder, because it's just going to get shot to pieces as soon as it gets within 18 inches. So yeah, it's going to give you 1 good turn of shooting with those whirlwinds backed up by the speeder. But you'd have to play it very well to be able to keep that speeder alive for more than 1 turn. Guys, try it out, let me know how that goes. That's very interesting, that one. And that's all of the formations for this book. You see there, you've got some really nice bit of artwork to finish that off. Ultramarines completely surrounding the orcs there. Really, really nice artwork, really detailed piece of artwork there. Good photography as usual, to be fair. Now, we are going to break down in the next few videos. I wasn't going to, but I've decided that maybe we'll pick some bits out of this book and talk some tactics, talk some strategies. It might be interesting to have a look at the different units and see sort of if things have changed. What sort of hidden gems we've got in regards to what we can put in that we couldn't put in before, what's changed. Obviously this has just been an overview of this book. Let's just have a little quick browse through what we've got left in here. It's just the appendix really, so it's chapter tactics. I think we've got the armory, we've got different bits and things to go through. We'll go through the appendix in the next video. After that we'll start breaking it down. We'll maybe do three tactics videos, just to see what we can do with these guys and start a bit of a feedback situation on what you guys are doing with them. Now, please, as usual, comment on the videos, start a discussion on what you guys are doing with these units, these formations, and fill me in on what you guys are doing, because I'm new to the game. I haven't been playing that long. I'm mostly a painter. I would love to know what I can do to benefit myself with these formations, so it'd be really good to see what you guys are doing. Maybe some of the more competitive players out there. Let us know. Comments and feedback's always welcome. And guys, check out the next video. We'll be going through the appendix, the chapter tactics, war gear, weapons, that sort of stuff. We'll see what goes on in the end of the book. Cheers guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.